Well, g'day there folks, my name's Philip Wong. Today I want to look at finding the demand and supply for single rooms. So we're talking about registered rooming houses, co-living spaces and flatmates. And we're going to do this using flatmates.com. First thing we need to do as an investor is figure out where would we actually have any decent demand for people who are after single room dwellings. And specifically, we're going to look for spaces where demand definitely outstrips supply. And, this is a pretty good indication as to what suburbs might be a good place to invest in. I'm going to start off with Google Maps. I happen to know Victoria fairly well, but I mean, this will work anywhere around the place where you're going to have lots of people who want single, share housing, really. I'm going to pick on Werribee because it's a bit more affordable and closer to the city. And I'm going to pick it on a place that has a train line to it. And of course, I noticed that there is, University of Victoria, Melbourne, and also a hospital here. So we're going to have lots of people who are transient. Transport is really important. Remember that only about half of the people who are renting a room will have their own vehicle, I find in my experience. Alright, so the suburb names that are important here are Hoppers Crossing, Werribee South, Werribee, and possibly Point Cook. That will give me a good idea about the region, but of course if you're not exactly sure of all the suburbs, you can go to this tool here. I will put this link into the description below, and you can actually draw out the suburbs and find out the exact suburb postcodes and names. So if I just get out of that, I can go I'll go back into that. I'll go click, 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 and possibly click out here as well. Okay, shrink that down, hit search for postcodes, please wait, and it comes out with all of the suburb names here. Now, not all of these suburbs are going to be in flatmates.com. Only the bigger suburbs will. So for example, Williams Landing might not be. Let's go to rooms, Williams Landing. Oh, Williams Landing does actually have a space there. Charterwell, we'll try these one by one. Nah, Charterwell doesn't. It would autofill if that was the case. Point Cook definitely will. Point Cook, Melbourne. Then we want Werribee. Werribee South. So those three areas. And I can see here that for rooms, I've got a total of 66 results. Okay, great. So now I do the same thing, but I go to, instead of rooms, I go to Flatmates, and I type in those same three areas. So Point Cook, Werribee, Werribee South, and Williams Landing. Werribee South, and Williams Landing, hit search. And now I can see there are 73 results, and there are all the potential people who are demanding accommodation here. The actual names don't matter, just as the same thing about the actual examples here don't matter. This will give you a pretty good indication as to the price and the status of the houses, like what are the competition you're up against as a landlord. And this will also give you a good indication as to how many people there will be. Now, of course, this will change on a weekly basis. However, what's important here is that we've got 73 results of people who are looking in this area and 66 results of supply of housing. So this doesn't look like a great region because demand matches supply. I know that's not necessarily the case right across Australia. If you go up to Brisbane, particularly in the Sunshine Coast, you will find that there is a massive short supply of appropriate housing at this particular stage. This is pretty important to investors. I hope you found this tip helpful. The next video will be released soon. Happy investing.